Hello everyone, I am Dr. Aditya Sai. So welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about prevention of sports injuries. What are sports injuries, who gets them and how we can prevent them. So the biggest misnomer is that only athletes can have sports injuries. In today's world everybody is an athlete. So there are two types of athletes. One is a professional athlete and the other one is a recreational athlete. A professional athlete, like a star cricketer player for Indian cricket team, he has all sorts of backup. He has physiotherapists round the clock, he has his own trainer, he has his own diet, schedule and everything. Still they can get injuries. And on the other hand, we have recreational athletes, people like you and me, who exercise a bit when they get time to stay in shape. So today what we are going to talk about will help in decreasing the risk of having injuries, because sports injuries can happen in everyone. As our focus on lifestyle diseases has increased, there is a trend about a growing awareness of the need to exercise regularly. When you talk to anybody, like we see a lot of individuals coming to our outpatient department with pain around their joints. So if I ask them whether they do any exercise or not, so they will say yes, they do exercise. But when you ask them what sort of exercise they do, they will say that okay, fine, I walk for 5 kilometers every day and that's about it. The thing is, just doing cardio itself is not an exercise, and that brings us to the number one point, which can decrease the risk of you having sports injuries, which can decrease the risk of you having joint related issues. The first important thing is regular strength training. So cardio forms of exercise like cycling, swimming, walking and all that is very good for you, but all these are exercises for your heart. So in addition to these exercises, unless you do regular form of strength training, you can have injuries of your knee, shoulder, back and so on and so forth. So when we talk about strength training, essentially it means improving the strength, volume and bulk of your muscle. So for that, a resistance training is important. Now you can do it in your home with the help of exercise tubing, therabands and stuff like that, or you can do it in the gym. If you are familiar with the gym environment, if you have been going regularly to the gym, focus on exercises for your back, core and lower body. If you do these exercises, your posture will be good, your core will be strong, and that will more than 80% decrease the risk of you having a lot of injuries. So that's the single most important thing. A lot of people believe in taking supplements, calcium and this and that, but the single most important thing is strength training. If you do that regularly, that's the most important stimulus for your bone to be strong, to grow. The second most important thing is stretching before your exercise. So even if you are just going for a light walk, or even if you are doing a light session of strength training, it is very important that you stretch before the exercise. Your joints are supple, your balance and position sense in the joint improves as a result of that. So if by chance your hand or your any body part goes in an odd position, you will be able to recognize it immediately, bringing it back and decreasing the risk of injury. So if you stretch properly, your body will be flexible, you will have less stiffness in the joint, lesser risk of developing tears of muscles and so on and so forth. The third thing is, when you are planning an exercise regime, you should chart it out. So it's very important to build up your stamina and endurance over a period of time. If let's say you want to do a 42-kilometer marathon, you should not directly jump to 21 kilometers or for that matter 10 kilometers. If you have not a regular runner, Then start with 5 kilometers, build it up to 10 kilometers, 15 and then 21. Do that for a few months and then you try the 42K. You yourself will be happy and your body will thank you. Otherwise you can get pain here, there, and you will obviously not enjoy the whole process. So a very important part of playing sports is enjoying the process, enjoying the energy it gives you, the freshness you feel out of it. So it's very important that you cherish that rather than going in a haste and injuring yourself and ending something which is not wanted. The fourth important thing to prevent injuries is cooling down and stretches after the exercise. Now if I ask 100 people including myself, do they do a cool down and for how much duration of time, I would say that 98% of them will tell that either I don't do a cool down or I do for 1 or 2 minutes those stretches. Your actual cool down should be as similar as a warm up. A cool down will decrease the risk of stiffness in your muscles. If you had a knee sprain during your workout, it will settle that. It will wash off the lactic acid from the area and you will be more energetic the next day to do a different set of exercises. The other important thing to decrease the risk of sports injuries is proper equipment. So you will have a lot of office goers or people who are doing 9 to 5 jobs. They will have their office events and they will have their annual sports day and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean you might have prepared to an extent, but you go there and play football and suddenly you are playing on a mat surface, you slip and injure some body part, which can be foot, ankle, knee, like so on and so forth. So could that have been prevented? Perfectly so. So what you need to understand is, as a recreational athlete, you are at a higher risk of injury compared to a professional athlete. You don't have adequate training, you don't have trainers with you, you don't have a physio with you. You are playing on a poorer surfaces compared to professional athletes and the equipment are lesser. So always use good equipment. So you are going to play soccer, then use proper soccer shoes. Don't use your trainers to go and play soccer. You may slip on a astroturf and fall down, twist your knee, a lot of bad things can happen. So all those things which could be prevented if you had good equipment. Same goes for skating. If you don't wear knee guards, if you are going for cycling, you don't wear helmets. So all those things, a lot of injuries can be prevented if you follow safety precautions. That's very important. Then obviously choice of playing surface is also important. So in India, if you look at football, there are professional players who get good surfaces, decent surfaces to play on, and then you have the local championships and local clubs where you don't get a lot of good surfaces. The ground in which you are playing has holes, is uneven, grass is also uneven, astroturf. You can slip, fall down, twist your knee and have a lot of injuries. So choosing a good surface to play on is very important. So keep that in mind. Last but not the least, what you eat is what you become. So if you eat healthy, you will have a better body. If you stay on junk food, fried oily stuff and all that, then obviously your body is not going to get the proteins, it doesn't have the antioxidants, the minerals to boost your metabolism, and then you are at a higher risk of injury. Your alertness would be low, and when you're not alert when you're exercising, you're at a higher risk of an injury. So have fresh food, whether it is vegetarian or non-vegetarian, that's up to you, but have fresh food, freshly prepared, which is not very oily, preferably home cooked food to stay fit. Now if you are regularly working out, consider it increasing the protein content of your diet. Now I'm not going to the details of how much protein you should have, how much carbs and all that, that's a purview of a nutritionist. So what I'm going to tell you is have good healthy food and stay fit. So I hope today's video was useful for you. I hope you learned something new. So keep tuned into our channel for similar videos. Subscribe, share and like our channel. Thank you.